to offer you this lesson from Unity of the Keys Spiritual Center.
There is a Jewish fable that long, long ago, before time existed, God was lonely and didn't have anyone to tell stories to. So God made us. Many devout Jews to this day believe that the history of the world is simply the stories of God coming true. So we've been hearing the stories of the prophetic annunciation of Jesus' birth, and those early stories of the beginnings of this amazing ministry of Jesus the Christ. Sometimes we believe them, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we might think the whole thing is made up. But today I would like you to listen to a story that I heard differently when it was told to me in my childhood. It's not a story from the Bible. It's the story of Our Lady of Guadalupe. It's a story about Mary in her resurrected spirit coming back with a message. Maybe you believe those stories about Mary's returns, like at Fatima to the children, or currently in Medjugorje, Yugoslavia. I mean, it's been documented that this mother called Mary has visited children, immigrants, the poor, and the suffering all over this planet. It's not hard for me to believe, because after my near-death experience, I have been visited by almost all of my relatives, either as they were dying or after they died. So the fact that someone could come in their spirit body and say something to me is not unusual. Actually, it's the foundation of Christianity. Because when Jesus was crucified, his friends, his spiritual companions, and his disciples were all hiding behind locked doors, fearing for their own life. And it wasn't until he started appearing to them in forms they didn't immediately recognize. Even his closest disciple, Mary, the Magdalene, didn't recognize him in the garden, thought he was the gardener. So our Christianity is founded on the resurrection of spirit, that we're more than this physical being. So, whether you believe it or not, listen to the story with the ears of your heart. So, long, long ago, once upon a time not like the time as we know it today, a time before faxes, computers, automobiles, televisions. In the year 1531, a civilization lay in ruins, its people conquered by an invading army, men, women, and children enslaved, and their religion thrown down, their sacred sites, their objects of worship destroyed, their culture devastated by a people claiming to be Christian, children of the one true God. In this ravaged land of the Aztec people, in the place that connects North and South America, on the outskirts of what is now Mexico City, an Indian man, a simple peasant, who'd been forcibly baptized into this new religion, was on his way to Mass. It was cold, and it was December, but as he walked, he thought he heard birds singing. And then he said, it was as if the earth began to sing. And there was a symphony in the trees and bushes, and a light came out and began to shimmer. And in this light, with her bare feet planted firmly on the ground, was a brown-skinned woman like him, an Aztec, dressed in blues and greens, the colors of water and sky, and she spoke to him in his own language. She called him by name. My son, Juan Diego, where are you going? He answered, to Mass. She spoke to him again. You must know and be very certain in your heart, my son, that I am truly the mother. Here on this spot I make myself known. Here I will show forth my love and compassion for all people. I'm your mother, and I will protect you. I'm the mother of all people who live on this earth, the mother of the God of everyone. I'm answering the call of those who love me and cry out to me, and those who deny me or don't know me or even care. I love them all, as a parent loves all children. I'm here for those who need me. I hear their weeping, and I will remedy and alleviate this situation. Juan Diego, you must go to the Bishop of Mexico City and tell him I have sent you, and that it is my desire to have a sanctuary for all people built on this hill, the sacred hill of the Aztec. Whether you believe this story or not, listen to the symbols. Juan Diego was overjoyed, and he went quickly to stand in the line of beggars, visitors, and delegates, all waiting to see Bishop Zumarraga. When he was finally able to speak to the bishop, he poured out the story of seeing the Holy Mother on the top of the sacred hill. But the bishop just shooed him away, didn't have time to listen. And as he walked home, Mary was waiting for him again. And he said, I think you're going to have to find somebody else for the job because that bishop won't even listen to me. But Mary told him, just go back tomorrow and tell him again. And so he did. He waited and he waited and he waited. And then he told the bishop that an Indian woman like him, the mother of the one true God, and his mother too, wanted the bishop to build a church on the sacred hill of the Aztec people. The bishop did not believe him. He told him to go back to the lady and tell her he wanted a sign before he would do anything. And again, Mary was waiting for Juan Diego on the hill. So we're day 2. And after listening to him, she told him to come in the morning and she would give him a sign. But Juan Diego returned home on the second day, and he found his uncle Bernardino quite ill. And he took care of him all day, afraid he would die. And he didn't return to the hill. And the next time he returned to the hill, December 12th, 1531, he went another way, trying to avoid Mary. But she found him. And she said again, "Juan Diego, where are you going?" And he poured out his heart about his uncle and his own insecurities. And according to the documents, Mary said this: "Listen, my dear son, I will protect you and take care of your uncle. Don't let your heart be troubled. I'm your mother. Isn't it my job to assist you? Am I not just like you, Juan Diego? Climb the hill, and on that mountain you will find flowers blooming in December, on this cold, wintry morning, on the top of a hill that even in the spring is only covered with cactus and thistles. Juan Diego found roses blooming, Castilian roses with a strong, thick scent, and he came back with his arms full of flowers. And Mary took the roses and wrapped them in his tilma, a clock made of hemp fiber that still hangs in Mexico City. They don't know how. They've tested this hemp fiber. They've carbon documented it to around the time period this happened. They don't know how it got this way. So Juan Diego stood in line on the third day, and he gave the bishop the roses, and the roses fell out of the hemp cloth. And the story goes, the bishop fell to his knees because emblazoned in this cloth that you can still see today, people don't know how that got there or what method it is in there, that it has lasted all this time. There is a picture of a woman of light standing on the earth, her hands folded reverently, her eyes looking downward in humble prayer. She is clothed in the sacred colors of the Aztec, with a black sash wrapped high above her waist, a symbol of pregnancy in their culture. Mary is pregnant, and it's the Christ who dwells within her, waiting to be born on that hill of the holy Aztec people, that place where they worshiped the Aztec goddess depicted as the pregnant virgin, Tenochtitlan, who was venerated as the mother of all, the source of life. You can't make this stuff up. Our Lady of Guadalupe, which means hidden river, came with a message. The river is flowing for all people. Love knows no distinctions. Love is imperishable. Compassion is the call. Each one of us, endlessly searching for satisfaction in the world of things, like Juan Diego, the bishop, you and I and everyone else will one day look inside our own self for what is eternal, beginningless, and endless. And then, what do? We move, we breathe, and we act as the Christ of our being. There's a book called the Book of Acts. It's the book about what happened after Jesus resurrected. It's the post-resurrection book. It's what we do next. How do we act? We act mindfully. We act with the great love that Jesus demonstrated. And in doing this, we strengthen the soul of all humanity. Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor of Rome, said it like this: "It is possible to live out your whole life in perfect contentment, even though the world deafens you with its roar and wild beasts tear your body apart like a lump of clay. For nothing, absolutely nothing, can shake a steady mind out of its peaceful repose. Nothing can bar it from correct judgment or defeat its readiness to see the benefit that all things bring. True spiritual understanding is to see the events of life in this way. You are here only for my benefit, though rumor paints you otherwise. And everything then is turned to one's advantage when they greet a situation like this. You are the very thing I was looking for. Truly, whatever arises in life is the right material to bring about our growth and the growth of those around us. He says this, in a word, is art, and the art is called life, a practice suitable to both mortals and God. Everything in this wild experience of human life, everything contains some special purpose, some Guadalupe, some hidden message, some inner river. All of life is here to be greeted like an old and faithful friend. The stories in the Bible and the story of Our Lady of Guadalupe are the stories that God has been trying to tell us since the beginning of all time. We are being reminded nothing is impossible with God. And we say, here I am, the servant of God. Let me bring peace on earth. Let it begin with me. Let it be with me according to your word. Mother Teresa had this belief that there was only one Christ, and it was alive in all of us. She said, I believe in person-to-person ministry because there's only one Christ. It's alive in everyone, so whatever person is before me, that's Jesus Christ. So it's with this awareness that I say, Merry Christmas. We're on an adventure. The adventure today is called Mary's Adventure to Magnify Peace in the World. Welcome aboard.